Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Beers in the Park. This is Stella. I haven't bothered with second, it's just Stella. Because we used to associate this with the English lager louds, all the English lager louds. Paddy Stella. And that's not even the English accent, but all the English lager louds used to drink pints of Stella. But I have to say, it is it's a Belgian beer. It's not even an English beer, it's a Belgian beer. But it's really easy to drink and drink lots of it. But I prefer this is one beer that I prefer more out of the bottle than the can. But even though it's a little bit more expensive, so this comes in at £2.30 for this bottle, which is not bad. I think you even get the 20 or 30 pence back if you bring back the bottle. But if you bring back too many, they tell you to fuck off. You know, basically they don't want your fucking bottles. But anyway, today I'm going to talk about chariot racing, the art of chariot racing, because I like chariot racing. So I'm going to talk about chariot racing. In order to participate in chariot racing, you first of all need a team of horses. Now 4 is the most common amount, but there is races for 1, 2 and 3, and then there's some mares exclusive, some races are exclusively for mares, and then there's some events for donkeys as well, for racing donkeys as well, or asses, or mules is the actual correct term, mules. We call them asses, but no, an ass is not a donkey. It's between a horse and a donkey. That's an ass, but in Rome they call them mules. So there's races for mules as well, but I've no interest in racing with mules. But anyway, so you have to pick your team of horses, and this is the first thing you have to do, and you're very careful picking your team of horses. Like for the lead pair, you need a slow horse on the inside, slow and steady horse on the inside, and a fast, high-spirited horse then on the outside, and to balance each other out. The slow horse gets you through the turns, and the fast, high-spirited horse takes up the pace down the straights, sets the pace down the straights. But if you have two high-spirited horses at the front, you won't make the turn. You absolutely won't make the turn. So you have to pick your team, and depending on how many you're racing with, you have to pick each horse that has an individual role that balances out the other, and they all complement each other. You have to pick a team that complements each other, and then the team that can race together, because if they're biting each other and kicking each other before they get to the start line, you haven't got a fucking hope. You haven't got a fucking hope. So they have to be able to work as a team, to race together, to come together as a unit and race as one unit, with the driver just being the conductor of the orchestra. Yeah, that's the best way of putting it. You have to work as one unit, even though each one is an individual entity. You have to be able to work as a unit, with the driver just being the conductor of the orchestra, and everything working in harmony. And then those horses then have to be well groomed, well housed, well fed, well shod. Very important that they're well shod. If you want an optimum performance from each of them, they have to have all these things. They have to be well looked after. Yeah. And then when it comes to the chariots, you need a light chariot. You don't need one with a gilded chariot, gold plated and all the rest of the bullshit, because all that bullshit's just too heavy, just too fucking heavy. All you need is a nice minimum chariot. Travel light, race light, and don't overburden yourself with bullshit. And then what's important to realise that what I think is one of the biggest messages to take from chariot racing is, if your ego exceeds your ability, you're going to get mangled. You're going to crash and burn. This is inevitable. If your ego exceeds your ability, you're going to crash and burn. Now, if you have an ego that's as big as mine, this is going to happen quite a lot. You're going to crash and burn quite a bit. You're going to get mangled quite a bit. But if you stay showing up to race, this is courage or stupidity, whichever you want to look at. But whichever way you want to look at it. But there has to be, well, I won't say at any point there can't be an absence of fear. Initially there can't be an absence of fear, but then you have to face this fear and overcome this fear by facing this fear, and then there's no longer a fear. So then if you get mangled enough, then, well, the universe loves a stubborn heart. Well, in my case, I suppose it decided to show me how to race. And yeah, the most important thing is to realise a little better every day. This is the Stoic way. Don't let your ego exceed your ability. Be honest with you. Don't have Dunning-Kruger syndrome, to put a psychology term on it. But I suppose an honest assessment of where you truly are, and not be deluding yourself in any regard, is the solution to that. But then if you do say get somebody to show you how to race, you can't have the reins until such time as you're able to drive the fucking chariot. Or you can only race in certain races. But in each race, like some races are harder to overcome, to have courage for than others. For example, if you want to race with more than 2 horses or four horses for that matter, you can race with up to 10 horses. But this takes great skill. And then you have to realise then where on the track you have to hold your line. I was going to tell you, actually I was going to tell you about Feet in the Sun Chariot. What fucking thing about? I can't fucking see a thing. I was going to tell you about Feet in the Sun Chariot. This is an example of your ego exceeding your ability. He came home to his mother one day and he said to her, like, that Titan, the sun god, is his father, but yeah, everybody just laughs when he tells them this. Nobody believes him. And he said he wanted evidence of this, he wanted proof of this. He wanted to go and see the father and get the father to own up and make it public knowledge that he was his father. So the mother says, right, on you go. And he went on anyway to see the father, Titan. And he said to him that nobody believed he was his father, and he needed him to make it public. He needed to show some sign that he was indeed his father. And the father said, no bother, I'll grant you anything you want. What do you want? And he said, I want to drive the sun chariot across the sky in the morning. And the father says, no fucking way. And he says, oh, you promised me anything I want, this is the only thing I want, this is the only thing I want. Maria, he went on and on. And the father eventually conceded, because he was after giving his word. And he let him drive the sun chariot, even though he was weeping bitterly at the thoughts of it. And the young lad got into the chariot, went on across the sky anyway, but the horses soon realised that there was only a weakling in control, and that he didn't have any great control over the horses at all. So they pulled him too low, and he scorched all the earth. This is Africa. They pulled him too high. He froze all Alaska, all the rest. So the earth cried out for help. Zeus looked out, saw fucking Egypt in the chariot, and threw a lightning bolt and killed him stone dead. That's what happens if you don't learn how to race. But anyway, that was an example of his ego exceeding his ability. You know, anyway, and the consequence of that. But anyway, as I was saying, and then it's very important in a chariot race, when you're holding your line in the middle of the line, it's very important to hold your line in the middle of the track. The middle of the track is the best place to hold your line, and then you can use both sides of the track as necessary. Yeah. Hold your line in the middle of the track and be able to use both sides as required, as is necessary. And then you have to know when to go, and you have to know when to hold back, and know when to go. And when it's time to go, you just go. There's no hanging around saying, oh, do you think I'll make the... You make a decision, and you go. And just detached from the outcome, I could say. But anyway. And then, when you're taking the turns, don't take the inside line, because you'll get boxed in. And when you take the outside line, you're going to be run the walls. So the best place is around the middle of the track. The best place is always the middle of the track. And use both sides of the track as necessary. It's also important not to race with a bladed chariot. A bladed chariot, you'll spend your whole race trying to do in everybody else, and all you end up doing is fucking yourself. Mine does to us what we do to others. And that's all you do, you end up fucking yourself, just trying to do in everybody else. Have you anything else to say about chariot racing? No, I think that's my lot about the chariot racing. Yeah, 10 horses. If you're striving for excellence, there's no reason you can't learn how to race with 10 horses. Good morning.